Welcome, Andy and Katie. I'm so excited to have you here.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
delighted to be here.
Thank
How
you
exciting to be in New York.
For your first time.
My first time, yeah. Katie came 22 years ago. So when she was
Wow.
just an 18-year-old in the big city.
A baby.
He tells me it doesn't count because it wasn't with him. So,
Yeah.
The first
no,
official time now.
It's only when you're together.
Yeah.
How has New York been so far? It's just been
Amazing.
a second.
Yeah,
right?
I've loved it. It's a little bit different to Perth. People probably tell by the accent that we're not from the US.
Yes.
So it's a bit of an experience. It's a lot busier than the cities in Australia, but I like that.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
it's a
got
good
it.
change.
Yeah.
Pushes us out of our comfort zone a bit because we live in a very sleepy town in
Yeah, I
in
actually
Australia.
don't know much about Perth. I mean, like I said, I've only been to Australia once, but from what you describe, it's more remote,
Quiet,
chill
very
vibes.
laid back, very coastal, very beach vibe. So this is completely different
How
in
does
a
it
good
compare
way.
to Byron Bay? I went there.
Byron Bay is probably a bit busier than
Interesting.
Perth. Yeah, it has a lot more going on. It's a bit more trending.
You know what I was really shocked by in Byron Bay? This is off topic, but people walking around without shoes on everywhere.
Yes, oh my gosh,
In
it's
the
such a
grocery
thing.
store?
This is an Aussie thing. This isn't just a Byron
Wait,
thing.
what?
Yes,
And they will
I
walk down
know.
the street and
What do you mean? Do you guys do that?
No,
No.
no.
But like, what percentage of people are shoeless?
Oh, if you're coastal, probably 8 out of 10.
No.
Like, yeah, they don't really like
why?
shoes.
Why? Imagine how filthy your feet are when you get home.
Yeah.
People in the grocery store had me on the floor. I was like, what are we talking about? I mean, also it's kind of refreshing, like ground in, do you?
True.
Yeah,
Free spirited.
I'm sure they're not doing it for the grounding properties, but yeah, it's just more that laid back surfer vibe. They're just
100%.
like, can I be bothered to put my shoes on this morning? I think
Yeah,
that's the
it's
vibe.
like I also didn't wash my hair.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah,
kind of
it's a whole
energy.
thing.
Wow. Okay, so you guys are both originally from the UK.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you both moved to Australia in 2011 together.
Yeah. it
Okay.
was.
And I
Together.
know that that's kind of where both of your, from my understanding, your health journeys began. So whoever wants to go first, I actually don't know. Did you guys have a simultaneous sort of like downturn in your health?
Yeah, it was. Do you know what it was? It was getting ready for our wedding. That was when it really kicked in. Like any bride and groom, you want to look your best and feel your best on your wedding day. So it was in 2017 that we got married. So it was the journey, probably the sort of year up to that we were exercising more, trying to find the right diet to lose the weight and look our best. And then we discovered that sleep just wasn't quite impactful enough for us to achieve what we wanted to achieve with our goals. So delved into sleep and how to optimize sleep. It was more Andy in particular. He was really struggling, weren't you, with sleep?
Really, really struggling.
What was that looking like?
So I could get to sleep fine. So I had a regular bedtime fairly early, like maybe 10 p.m. And I'd get to sleep, but I keep waking up in the night. And then I thought to myself, right, what can I do to try and improve this or find out what the issue is? And I knew some people at a company called Aura. They do this ring. I'm sure a lot of people would have.
Oh, she's wearing one. Yes.
By the way, I've been wearing
the
Aura
gold
rings
one.
for like 6 years, back when they were like matte
Yeah.
black and like
Yeah.
really not cool.
No,
The OG.
yeah, I had the not cool one as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Katie will tell you about all the other not cool stuff about me in a bit when it
Yeah.
comes to product development.
Oh, I'm excited.
So I got given one of these rings and I put it on and tracked the sleep, and it was my REM and deep sleep that were really impacted. So I wasn't getting enough restorative sleep. So that was the big sort of issue for me.
Yeah, it was. And then it by default impacts yourself, right? If you're sharing a bed with your partner and they're
course.
constantly waking up, you're impacted by sleep. So went down a rabbit hole to see how could we optimize sleep. And at the time, 8 years ago, the effects of artificial blue light on your melatonin production was starting to really trend. And there was a lot of talk about blue light blocking glasses and what they could do to help you get deeper sleep and more restful sleep. So Andy hopped on a website, ordered some hideous blue light blocking glasses.
Love.
I can't even say they were glasses, they were safety goggles. Like, I don't know if you remember them, like full on like lab orange glasses, and he was wearing them watching TV, and I just thought, what a freak. Do I want to go ahead with this wedding? Because is this what I'm marrying into? Like, this is weird. But you noticed some improvements, didn't you? A little bit.
Yeah, the REM sleep spiked a little bit, which was good. Deep sleep, not so much. And this is where it led me. Like, you can probably tell, like, Katie's the brand fashionable, like up to speed sort of person in the relationship, and I'm more the geeky scientist guy.
By the
so
way, you need both.
you need
it's
both.
a great
It
marriage.
Exactly, it works so well together. So I was in all these forums at the time, because this was like before, like,
By the way,
Instagram and
even
stuff.
before Instagram and all of that, Reddit and all those places when you're
Yes.
having a health issue is unfortunately where a lot of times you have to go. I've certainly been there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like dabbling in these forums and knew a lot of people in there, had all my little online friends, and we used to talk about keto dieting all the time because that's what got me in shape for the wedding. And there was this guy that always used to like pop in and sort of rant at people in there about light, called Dr. Jack Cruz. Some people would have heard of him, some people not. Like, a lot of what he says is really, really good, hard-hitting stuff. And the other half of what he says is just sort of crazy ramblings. But this sort of spiked my interest in looking at how light frequencies could impact our sleep. There were specific frequencies of blue and green light that could impact sleep. And that's when we bought these blue light glasses and gave them a go. But as I started reading the studies, there was this very specific banding of light that impacted sleep. So I got all the glasses that I purchased tested. So I had like 3 or 4 pairs, and I got them tested with a spectrometer in a lab, and none of them were blocking what the science was saying. They were blocking maybe between 30 and 80%, depending on what the product was. So this was where we were like, well, surely we can invent a pair that blocks exactly what the science is saying. So we got this optics lab to do it for us. Again, that's another company that thought I was crazy. They were like, why do you want red lenses? And like,
Especially in like 2012.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You were so ahead of this.
Yeah, and so we developed them, and then I sent them to a few people that I knew were wearing blue light glasses, and I said, look, this is not a pitch. I just want to get some feedback. Are these glasses better than the ones you're wearing? And test it using your Aura, Whoop, Sleep Tracker, whatever it is. And I sent it to 20 people, and all 20 of them came back and said, wow, like our sleep scores are through the roof now, like compared to the other glasses. Maybe you should start a company. And that's kind of how it was born. So it started in blue light.
Wow. Okay. So going back to your sleep issues, and then we'll get into the blue light. Were there any modalities that you tried? I assume that that's when you really got into like biohacking and kind of like playing around with your health. Anything that you tried during that time that like you would not recommend or that didn't work? I'm just curious because we all kind of have our trial and error during these times.
Yeah, we tried quite a lot of things. A lot of things did work. That's the thing with biohacking. It is kind of a practice that does have principles that work. Mouth taping was one that really worked to help with,
I like that.
with sleep. That definitely really worked.
Do you guys do that still?
Still,
Yeah.
yeah. I have a horrible habit of grinding my teeth when I sleep, so I wear a splint, and that has helped me get into a deeper sleep because I'm not sort of grinding so much. I guess it's more the old-fashioned wellness tips that don't have much impact, like the lavender spray on your pillow. You know, it's yes,
Totally.
it's nice. It makes you feel a bit more relaxed, but it's not hard-hitting enough to really impact your sleep, really.
Yeah.
So we didn't find those sorts of things did a great deal for us. Or have a chamomile tea before bed. Yes, they're lovely, but you need something that's more substantial, more hard-hitting, and that's when you need the actual biohacks, I feel. So it's not taking away from those things and saying that they didn't work, but they just weren't impactful enough for us and with what we were looking to achieve.
Yeah, I think with biohacking is you're looking at modalities rooted in science that are impacting something in your well-being and fundamentally causing a negative effect. And until you can find those root causes, you could be doing things like lavender spray
It
or
becomes a
chamomile.
Band-Aid,
Yeah, it becomes a Band-Aid, and it might improve a little bit, but if you're not treating the root cause of the issue, which in the sleep side of things is artificial blue and green light. So there's other pathways to sleep that obviously need improving as well. But if you're having a chamomile tea or spraying your pillow with lavender spray, but sat under artificial light watching TV or scrolling your phone, you're not going to improve your sleep.
100%. And so during that time specifically, do you feel like you were exposed to more blue light?
Yeah, absolutely. It was more that, like, I think when we first moved to Australia in 2011, we didn't really have Facebook and Instagram on our phones. And as time went by and we found that we were on our phones more because social media was on there, we were exposed to just more and more blue lights. And the big one for us and a lot of our community was when COVID hit and everyone started to go online more. It was more Zoom meetings and things. People were more and more exposed to blue light and started to wake up to the fact that, you know, it was and still is an issue, but they were exposed much more to it during that period as well.
And so when you developed these goggles of sort, and you started using them. Can you speak a little bit more to the data that you saw on your Oura Ring and also just like how you were feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the data, both REM and deep sleep for me doubled, but then
Doubled.
Yeah, double, but I got a caveat. It was very bad. Like to start
we
with.
weren't starting from a
The
good place.
baseline was not good.
Yeah,
Like,
and
what was it?
it was like 1.5 hours.
Wow.
Really bad.
Now I want to check mine.
Yeah, I know. So I got up to 3 for both, which was fantastic. And I sleep about 9 hours a night. So
Wow.
3 deep, 3 REM, 3 just the standard, which is really good for the 90-minute cycles, I think. I'm trying to get half an hour of each. So that worked really well. And in terms of how I felt, I guess how I was feeling before was I was feeling very tired in the morning. So I found it very difficult to get up and out of bed in the mornings. It would be like the alarm would go off and I'd be woken by the alarm and I'd be like, oh, I really don't want to get up. And then I'd feel in the evenings, actually, let me go back to the afternoons. In the afternoons, I would slump. So I'd pick up a little bit once I was up and showered. And then around about 2 or 3 o'clock, I started to feel this like real tiredness, slumpy feeling. And then I'd get home and I'd start watching TV or going on my phone or whatever. And then I'd feel really wired, really like it didn't make sense. It was almost like it was reversed. Like I should be feeling really energetic in the morning from what I've been reading, and I should feel really tired in the evenings, ready to sleep. So when I started wearing the blue light blocking glasses, I started to see over time that and it's kind of like the cortisol cycle, it flipped. So the cortisol was higher in the morning, which is what you want, that cortisol awakening response to really jumpstart you into your day.
Yep.
I didn't slump in the afternoons, and then I started to feel tired naturally in the evenings. So that was a big thing for me. And a lot of people just seem to think that waking up in the morning, you're meant to feel tired and a little bit groggy, and you need your coffee to stimulate you. But it wasn't just the blue light glasses, it was also syncing my circadian rhythm. So watching the sunrise in the morning every day became a ritual for us both, and we found that really could replace caffeine in the morning.
Wow.
It's so powerful. Do you do it?
I don't. I'm not up that early, and I'm listening to you and I'm like, I think I sleep pretty well. My Oura scores are generally very good. I use an 8 sleep. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, as you guys know, I take very good care of my health, but I do feel a little bit of what you're describing where I hit the snooze button 3 times this morning.
Okay.
And like, I also know from having been recently in Europe and jet lag, that sort of reverse jet lag we were talking about before coming on.
Yes.
That was amazing. I was up at 6, energized. So I know what it feels like by contrast now. And I'm starting to think like, maybe the blue light is actually an issue for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure so many people listening, like even that afternoon slump, like I think a lot of people have sort of normalized these tiredness patterns that it sounds like from your experience, we don't have to be feeling.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You've hit the nail on the head with normalizing the patterns. We're all rooted in ancient evolution, right? So we've all developed a circadian rhythm, which is ultimately a little clock system that's located in the brain, and that was synced and entrained and developed over time with rising and setting of the sun. Sunlight changes in its frequencies throughout the day, but what we're doing now is we're bringing loads of little artificial suns into our lives in LED lights, and that's disrupting that ancient clock. It's no longer in the environment that it was entrained in, so we're now not living how we should have lived in the modern world, because we've got all this artificial light around us, and those slumps are now normalized because our normal life is around artificial light, whereas actually it shouldn't be. Now there's 2 things you can do. You can go and live in a cave somewhere and try and get back to your roots, but no one wants to do that. Modern technology is fantastic, so you've got to use biohacking to try and hack your environment so your body internally thinks it's still living 100,000 years ago whilst in New York City or Perth or Sydney or wherever it is in the world.
Because we do it with diets, don't we? Everyone's familiar with a paleo diet or paleo diet that you call it over here. So we're used to looking at ancestral ways of dieting or even functional patterns, more ancestral ways of moving, but we're not looking enough at ancestral ways of light. And that's kind of where our journey has come through with our wellness.
I'm like having so many thoughts right now because, you know, people use the word biohacking, they talk about blue light. I feel like so many people don't actually know what that's about. And when you just said that we're exposed to a million artificial suns throughout the day, that just like lit up a light bulb in my head, because that's what it really is. So essentially, and correct me where I'm wrong in this, what's happening is with blue light. We are being exposed to it throughout the day. It's throwing off our circadian rhythm because it's confusing. It's if we lived in a cave and we just woke up and saw the sunrise, that would be setting us in the right clock. But we're basically like throwing off our internal clock and then just expecting our bodies to want to go to bed at 10 p.m. and, like you said, probably getting wired by that artificial sun right before bed.
That's absolutely spot on. Yeah, well done. That's really good.
I'm glad, because there's a lot of room for messing that up. Okay, I just want to make sure I get it.
No,
it is
definitely.
quite simple though, isn't it? It literally
It
is that. So it's no need to overcomplicate it. It's just that we're constantly exposed to light. So the body constantly thinks it's daytime. And when it thinks it's daytime, it's constantly going to be producing cortisol to keep you awake and wired. So then it's no wonder you can't sleep then, because your body isn't going to reduce cortisol and produce melatonin because it thinks it's daytime. So it's really as simple as that. It needs the time to understand it's nighttime to drop into that calm, more parasympathetic state, reduce cortisol, increase melatonin, but we're not giving it that environment anymore because we turn on all of our lights as soon as it gets dark.
And so what's actually happening when we're wearing a blue light blocking pair of glasses? It's just we're only receiving the light that doesn't feel like artificial sun, so it's not throwing things off?
Yeah, that's correct. Let me tell you a little bit about how it should look from an ancestral standpoint. And then I'll tell you how it's currently looking and how the biohacks work. So the way it used to work before the advent of artificial lighting was that we would get up in the mornings and the first light that we would see, our bodies would see, our skin, our eyes, would be natural light. It would be from the sun. Now, what that did was it would stimulate the production of dopamine, serotonin, and cortisol. Now, those are three very important hormones and neurotransmitters to make us feel alert during the day, because that's when humans needed to be alert during the day to survive, to hunt, to gather. As the day went on and we were out in sun, the sunlight would change, and that would suppress and downregulate and upregulate different hormones and neurotransmitters. Now, when the sun started to set, we would see that as well. And that decrescendo effect from blue light dropping down would signal to the brain that cortisol now needs to be reduced and melatonin now needs to be increased. And then when the sun had finished setting, we would have sat around a campfire looking at red, orange and yellow lights, and that would have put us into this very calming, restorative, healing state. Melatonin would have upregulated even more. We would have gone to sleep, and then the sunlight in the morning from the rising sun would have started this whole process all over again. So what we're doing now is we have decided in the modern world, maybe in the sort of 80s and early 90s, to replace incandescent lights, which were very similar to sunlight, with LED lights. Now, LED, they wanted to make more energy efficient. So to make them more energy efficient, they needed to put more of the blue spectrum of light into them and remove some of the red. So you have this artificial light that our body clocks are seeing 24/7, which is ultimately the same frequencies as natural sunlight at midday. So we're constantly living in perpetual midday when our cortisol levels are highest. So when we put the blue light blocking glasses, and they have to be an orange or red lens, the clear ones won't work to do this. You put them on after the sun has set, it will block all blue light from passing through your eyes, so your body clock perceives that it's dark even if you're watching TV or if you're scrolling your phone or if you've got your house lights on. So it creates something called physiological darkness because the body clock can't distinguish between natural light or artificial light. So if you're blocking it, it's basically seeing oranges, reds, yellows, maybe some of the greens when you're watching your shows in the evening, but your body thinks that it's nighttime.
And so when you see people wearing blue light glasses, like taking a Zoom call during the day, that doesn't actually make sense.
No, and this is the thing, I don't want to demonize blue light because blue light is great during the day.
So blue light is the sun.
Ultimately, yes.
Okay, that's an important distinction because I thought it was like just what's coming from our phone, but technically blue light is the sun, which is why things are getting so confused internally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why it can't distinguish between the sun and natural light, artificial light, because they are both blue light and the sky's blue. And how do we feel when the sky's blue and the sun is shining? We feel amazing.
Great.
Yeah. And that's perfect for during that period of the day, but we need to feel relaxed in the evenings, and you can only do that in the absence of blue light because blue light is a stimulator of cortisol.
So it's so funny because as you're talking about ancestral stuff, I'm thinking about how like my phone and my Kindle switched to like warm color tones in the evening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my Kindle is literally emulating a campfire
Yeah.
from the ancestral days.
Yes.
I mean, but it makes so much sense. So just to double clarify that point, people should only be wearing blue light blockers when the sun goes down. Otherwise, it's kind of counter.
Yes and no. Okay. So every frequency of light has a property and an impact on the body. So blue light is fantastic during the day because it increases cortisol, which is a good thing during the day. You want your natural cortisol rhythms to be active during the day because you want to be alert. Green light has been shown to help with migraines, so that can help regulate sort of neuro health. You look at red light and it can be used in red light therapy devices, for instance, to help heal and restore any damage caused by random metabolic processes that happen during the day or damage from environmental stimulus, cellular sort of healing, that kind of thing. So what the LED lights have done, and this is in anything from your fridge light, from your appliances, from your laptop, from your phone, from your TV, they've stripped out all the red light and put in loads more blue light. So wearing the clear lens blue light glasses during the day can add some benefit because it reduces the blue light a little bit. It doesn't block it.
Because we're getting
so much constantly from everywhere.
Okay.
But the biggest issue is the balance of light isn't correct with these LED devices. So you've got to start balancing and bringing more different color spectrums of light around your phone or around your laptop or in your house. So things like putting a salt lamp next to your computer when you're working on it will bring more red light into your environment, so it creates that more balanced light. And you can do things like, if you're working indoors all day, have regular breaks outside for sun. So I always say to people that in an office culture, it was always this thing where people go out and have smoke breaks. So why not have like a sun break in exchange for a smoke break? 'Cause it's much healthier and it helps to entrain your rhythms because you're going outside away from isolated blue light and into this full spectrum sunlight, which is really beneficial during the day. So it's just super important not to become a sort of a demonizer of blue light. It's more like context has to apply. Blue light during the day is brilliant, fantastic. You need it in its balanced format along with the other spectrums of colors. But after sunset, you don't want to see any blue light. So our ancestors wouldn't have seen any blue light at all, except from very low lux blue light from the moon or the stars. And then you can go even further and look at sleep and how it's impacted during full moon cycles. People's sleep actually decrease when it's a full moon because of two things. More blue light because it's more vivid, but also the electromagnetic field energy radiation that's given off, like the pull of the moon, intensifies as well, which disrupts your sleep.
Yeah, I mean, and for anybody that doesn't believe that, look at the ocean. I mean,
Yes.
it's like clearly things are, and emergency rooms during a full moon are also like popping.
Yes, and pregnancies, giving birth, that's a big thing during full moon. So it does have a huge impact on us.
I agree, and it definitely has. And I like to look at things and from like historical standpoint as well. Like the Latin saying or Latin word for moon, lunar, comes to form other connotations. Like lunatic is actually a connotation of the full moon cycle. So a lunatic was literally someone that was a crazy person like hundreds, thousands of years ago, but they were termed a lunatic because they typically became more crazy when the moon was full.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, there's so much that's like already there, and it's just a matter of us like going backwards and tapping back into it, right? It's like we've gotten so far off. Okay,
Very true.
So the glasses happen, you start feeling better. At what point are you guys like, we need to start our own thing and turn this into something for ourselves?
I guess it was off the feedback that Andy had when he sent out the 20 pairs to his network. They said, you have to launch a business. So we just kind of did. Do you know what? We didn't really think about it. We just dove into it. We were like, let's do it. Let's just come up with a name.
Of course. There's no world where we wouldn't.
It just seems so simple. We didn't actually think of it being a company or being a brand. We just went ahead and did it and sort of started ordering some more products in. You created a basic website, like a drag and drop website. I was thinking of a name, seeing if the domain was available, and just launched it as a side hustle to our day job from our spare bedroom, and did some marketing. And when we got a little bit of money back from sales, would reinvest that back into a few more adverts or a few more Facebook adverts, or optimizing the website a bit more. And it just kind of grew. And it was probably about, would you say, maybe a year and a half in, where I could see it being more than just a blue light glasses brand. I knew that this could be a wellness brand. By that point, you'd seen the bites, the traction, the interest from the community. had a hard time convincing Andy. He couldn't see that. He was like, I can't see how this can be a wellness brand. We're a blue light glasses brand. That's it. So
he was deep in the blue glasses.
Yeah, he was, and he had been the data guy and the science guy. He's like, I need the facts. Show me the facts. And I'm like, it's a feeling. I know it can be more. So, but it was a journey that we went on as well. As we learnt more about wellness and we learnt more about light, it naturally took us down routes of other products, because as much as we learned how artificial blue light after dark impacts your sleep and that blue light glasses can help hack that, we then started to learn the impact that light has on your skin and how that can still impact your sleep through the receptors in your skin. So
that's an interesting one. So just when you think you've nailed it by buying a pair of blue light blocking glasses and wearing them after sunset, 2 years later they released a study because they found melanopsin in the skin cells. Now, melanopsin is the receptor, the photoreceptor, that it stimulates and reacts to blue light. So they basically found that every single cell in your body has a clock. So you can wear blue light glasses, but if your light is blue hitting your skin...
We've got it handled here, but our body is also aware of the light.
Exactly. So then we started looking at, well, okay, so if there's something wrong with the light in the first place, how do we engineer the lights to be correct forms? So that's when we started looking at circadian-friendly lighting and launched our collection that was void of blue light to allow people to have illumination in their homes whilst wearing the blue light glasses to further enhance their sleep, but also their skin. You know, that the impacts artificial blue light has on your skin are really profound. It really dehydrates your skin, and when your skin's dehydrated, it looks more aged, the fine lines and wrinkles appear. So it's the appearance as well as the sleep aspect. So went into circadian friendly lighting, our community loved it, and then we just started pushing the boundaries more, going, well, would they be interested in other frequencies of light, the more restorative therapeutic benefits of light in red light therapy? Launched a few products in that collection, and they were, and our community just kind of grew with us, and the brand evolved over time to be the complete wellness tech brand that it is now, from just a blue light glasses brand.
That's incredible, because I mean, obviously the best businesses start when you're solving your own problem, right? Yeah. And then I think the other layer to that is when they then evolve as you start to discover more outside of just that like niche that you started with. And that's exactly what you guys did.
Yeah.
So getting into the light bulb thing, because I actually didn't know this. So what's the takeaway for the listener who's at home and they're like, are my lights blue? What should I be doing? Like, what's like the skinny on that?
Yeah, it's if you've got regular lighting in your home, it's going to be emitting blue light. So it's another sort of confusion that people have is that they think that if they can't see the color blue, then blue light isn't present. So that's not correct. So it will typically be like the white LED lighting, or maybe it glows a little bit yellow as well. That's still got blue light in it. And the only way you can test that is for a spectrometer, but we've tested it and it's in every light bulb. So we can save people the time on researching on that side. But what they need to do is you need to have a setup that has like almost full spectrum lighting during the day, and then it transitions into the evening to a red or an amber light. And that's one of our most popular products, and it's a light that you put on in the morning and it's a certain frequency, then the afternoon another frequency, in the evening a different frequency, which is cool.
So it has like an internal clock. It knows what time it is.
No. Now, that's where it gets difficult. You have to do it yourself.
Okay.
The reason you have to do it yourself is because if you start putting controllers in using sensors such as Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, that's also incredibly bad for you at a cellular level.
All of a sudden it's EMFs. Yeah.
Yes. You try and solve one problem and
it's another.
And you create another,
and
right?
also everyone's schedule is different and when they're awake is different.
Exactly.
So like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're manually changing it for the times of the day.
Yeah.
And is it like light bulbs in the ceiling that you're just...
It lamps, ceilings,
okay,
and any way you want. Now, if you want to go, and I always like to caveat here as well, so I'm the king of caveats here, so I don't want to give one bit of advice for everyone, because everyone is so different and biohacking is so personal. If you want to go sort of basic sort of level and improve your lighting environment, then those light bulbs are going to be fantastic. Or even just having the lights off maybe a couple of hours before bed with maybe some salt lamps around, because that's more of a natural orange red glow that's given out. Now you can take it another step further and then add blue light blocking glasses to it, or you can go full level biohacking with the whole situation, which is replace all of your lighting, wear the blue light blocking glasses, actually turn off the screens and everything you're using, and power down before bed as well. But you just got to kind of decide where you are on your journey with these things as well, because if I gave my entire protocol, or Dave Asprey or Brian Johnson gave theirs, people would just be like,
you get the fuckets.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
And I speak a lot to micro habits on here, like what's a small change you can make. Blue light glasses were yours, right? And that it eventually, as you start to feel better because these things work, becomes your gateway into other things.
Of course it does.
For the listener that's feeling intimidated by a huge routine, like starting in a small place like the blue light blockers or the light bulbs, I feel like is a really good place.
I agree. And it can also be even free things, you know, if people don't want to spend the money on blue light glasses or bulbs, then maybe some sun breaks during the day, maybe have a dig around for the salt lamp, maybe just power down your devices an hour before bed, and not scroll could be beneficial as well. And then you can kind of look at the results on that N=1 individual basis and go, did I feel better doing this? If the answer is yes, then, well, what else can I do? And then you just slowly build it from there. And I think
it's
that's
also
a
looking at, it's looking as well as, you know, what can you realistically commit to? Because the way a habit is going to have an impact on your wellness is consistency. We all know that. If you're not going to do something daily, and you know you won't do it daily, there is no point to trying to attempt it.
Agree.
So if you think that you're not quite there yet to be wearing blue light blocking glasses every day, this simple hack of changing a bulb in your light bulb, it's done. It's set and forget. It's in your light bulb. It's in your lamp. It's the correct frequencies. Your light environment is then already hacked, and every time you turn it on, it's there ready to go. And maybe start like that and build up, because it is consistency, and that is the big thing that we find with our community. Is it's not that you wear the blue light glasses once and your sleep's cured, or you know you go and see the sunlight in the morning one morning and then your circadian rhythms completely reset for life. It's not. It's a daily practice. So it's kind of finding the things that you can commit to, and those easy wins, I guess, as the starting point, and to build on it and go full-blown biohack down the line if that's where you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I want to circle back to what you were talking about, Katie, with the skin.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about blue light's impact on the skin and what we should be doing there?
Yeah, absolutely. It all ties in with cortisol, right? When cortisol's high in the body for a prolonged period of time, it doesn't have the body doesn't have the ability to go through the rest and repair and restorative processes that it does. So constant exposure to artificial blue light during the day and night is going to keep cortisol levels high, and that's going to impact your skin because it doesn't allow it time to repair and regenerate. But as well as that, blue light does dehydrate the skin. So you will find it in a lot of beauty practices where they use blue lights in particular to target things like acne.
Actually,
and
yes,
spots.
I have seen that.
Yeah, and it does work for that, but the way it works is by stripping out all of the moisture, because acne is caused by excess oil production.
So it's literally just drying.
It is.
The skin.
Yes, it is. So yes, that treats the acne, possibly, but the side effect is it's dehydrating your skin. So then you might have less spots or less acne, but you can have drier skin and then fine lines and wrinkles appear. Whereas the beauty of red light therapy is it doesn't dehydrate the skin. In fact, there are a lot of studies that show that it hydrates the skin because it can actually energize the cells to produce more hyaluronic acid internally. So it can treat a whole host of different conditions without stripping away the hydration, which then further impacts aging. And let's face it, we don't want to look older. It's that sort of thing. Yes, you might want to not have acne or not have spots, but you also don't want fine lines and wrinkles.
That's the long-term, impact of that kind of
Exactly.
thing.
And that's where we find red light therapy a lot more beneficial because it doesn't have that knock-on side effects that blue light does.
And so where does using red light therapy fit in terms of the circadian rhythm that we're talking about? And like, for example, I use both your mask and your panel, which we talked about before. is there a time of day I should be using those, or does it not matter?
Yeah, yes, there is a time of day, and it's great that you asked that because a lot of people don't know this.
Because I'm using it in my morning meditation. Is that counter?
Great. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay.
But the face mask and the panels that you've got have both red and near-infrared lights. They have 2 different frequencies. So red is the visible color that you see. That's the one that targets the surface level of the skin. And then the near-infrared light is invisible and it penetrates deeper through to the muscles and the joints level. So if you were looking at using both in tandem, it would be more beneficial to use it during the day because near-infrared is present in nature during the day, not the night time. Whereas if you were only looking to use the red frequency to target your skin, you can use that day or night. But in order to optimize your circadian rhythm, it's best to use near-infrared during the daytime if you are going to use it, and you want to be optimal, of course, because it's basically aligning with nature. That's when it's found in nature, therefore that's when you should be using it more.
Amazing. Okay, so let's talk about your red light offerings at Bon Charge. I have the mask.
Yeah.
I was telling Katie that was sort of like my gateway into understanding the impact of this stuff. I was flying to Australia for the first time and I had 30 hours of flight ahead of me, and I brought the mask and I was like, I wonder if I can plug this thing in on the plane. And I had really bad perioral dermatitis at the time. It's like this rash around my mouth, and it's a whole host of things, stress, toothpaste, whatever. But I had been told that red light could really be helpful for it. So I strap the mask on, I use it for 20 minutes on this flight. I go about my time, and I'm noticing like I get off the plane, and usually that's when my rash is really bad because it's just like bad air and bad light and all the things. And it was so much better. And I was like, this is so interesting. So I started using it more and more throughout the trip. I then converted myself to being a panel girl. I got one in, and it sits in front of my meditation cushion, and I started using that, and my rash is gone.
Love that.
My skin is, and I'm not just saying this, I'm really someone who on this podcast specifically, like, I don't talk about a lot of skincare and things changing my skin because most of it doesn't.
Yeah.
I think there's like good quality and bad quality.
Yeah.
There's a few things I use that I absolutely see an impact with when it comes to skincare. The red light panel is very much one of those things. So love your products, first of all, like genuine, honest fan. And it has changed my skin. My fiance keeps being like, your skin looks amazing. And I'm like, now I have him sitting in front of the red light panel meditating.
Love it. Love it.
It's also an amazing way to habit stack because 2 birds, 1 stone. Like you said, consistency matters. I meditate every single day. So if I can get that light in while I'm doing it, it's kind of like a 2-for-1. Can you speak a little bit more to your red light offerings?
Yeah, I guess we've got quite a vast collection that, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, our community kind of lead us down that route. We take the feedback from them and what they're looking for, and habit stacking is fundamentally the basis of what our community look for in anything that they're purchasing. And so we've kind of adopted that principle when we've created our red light therapy collection, because we're also time poor. We're also busy. We don't have time to dedicate to a particular practice. They need to be incorporated into something that they're already doing. So our collection started with the panels, various different sizes to determine what the individual wanted, whether they wanted portable to take away on holiday or something that was more fixed at home. But the way the market has gone lately is more wearables within the red light therapy space, because people can be more mobile going around their house, and that's when we went into the red light face masks, the neck and chest masks, and the face wands, to basically offer the community what they were looking for, things that they can cook dinner for their kids whilst they're taking their red light therapy sessions. So I guess in answer to your question, it is quite a vast collection that we have in order to appeal to what the individual is looking for. But also, red light therapy is so vast in its offerings and its benefits. You know, it's there for recovery, it's there for skin, it's there for optimizing your well-being, energizing your cells. You can tap into it for very different reasons, and people do tap into it for very different reasons. We have top athletes that are using red light therapy to optimize their recovery and optimize their peak performance. Then we have mums that are maybe using it to have more parasympathetic time and optimize their sleep and have that decompression time before beds. And then there's people that are looking to it to improve their skin and their appearance, and then others just want to enhance their longevity and their overall well-being and have it as a daily practice for themselves because they know it's good for their body longer term. So it's so vast in what it does, and that's the beauty of it. It kind of caters to so many different people and so many different needs and benefits all in one, which is why I personally love it so much as well.
No, it's incredible. I also saw that you guys had mentioned somewhere that there is a weight loss study when it comes to red light therapy.
Yes, there is.
What is that all about?
It's really interesting because there's over like 4,000 studies on red light, and 400 of them are double-blind placebo, which are like the gold standard in academic research. And one of those double blinds was a treadmill study. So what they did was they took 25 people on one side and 25 on the other side for this study. The first group were walking on an incline treadmill for 30 minutes every day, and then what they would do is they would sit down and relax after their exercise. Now, the second group of 25 people did exactly the same protocol. So they did the incline 30-minute treadmill. And then instead of sitting down afterwards, they sat in front of a red light panel for 15 minutes. And the results after the 6-week trial period was 32% more weight loss.
Wow.
In the group that had the red light therapy rather than just sitting down afterwards. It was just such a phenomenal study. It wasn't just a little bit of weight loss extra. It was like almost a third more.
And so what's actually happening there? How is the red light panel aiding in weight loss? Is it like mood? Is it cellular?
It's cellular, and it's quite complex to explain, but I'm going to attempt to explain it as simply as I can. So it all comes down to optimizing cellular energy efficiency at a mitochondrial level. So if there's an issue, so say you've got excess fat cells, say you've got wrinkles, say you've got joint pain or sore muscles, there's all this is inflammation, and you need, when you're inflamed, your energy efficiency decreases at a mitochondrial level. So you need to increase the energy efficiency to be able to then reduce the wrinkles, remove fat loss, help with relieving of the pain in the muscles and joints. So it all comes down to something called electron chain transport, and that's how energy is produced in our mitochondria. There's 4 phases during this energy production system, and it's governed by 3 factors. It's governed by food intake, water, and light, and that all helps produce energy. Now, when we become inflamed, we increase something called nitric oxide in this energy production system. And that's really significant because when we're inflamed and nitric oxide increases, nitric oxide takes away oxygen, and oxygen is needed to react with something called cytochrome C oxidase to produce energy. So when there's less oxygen because we're inflamed and there's too much nitric oxide, we can't produce as much energy. Now, what happens is it seems that specific frequencies of red light react with nitric oxide and eliminate it, freeing up more oxygen to produce more energy. And these frequencies of light have to be at 630 to 660 nanometers, which is visible red light. And they have to be between 830 and 880 nanometers, which is invisible near infrared light. And if they are administered at radiances over 50 milliwatts per centimeter squared, your energy efficiency will start to increase. Now, the more energy you have, the more the cells can do what they need to do, which is in any specific application, whether it's shining a red light face mask on your face to reduce wrinkles and increase collagen, whether it's to produce more osteoblast cells at a joint level to then help repair and recover ailing joints or muscles, it will start to do that. So it all works at that sort of cellular level to free up more oxygen to produce more efficient energy.
That's incredible. I mean, it's so wild to think of how much is going on just by the light that we're exposed to.
Yeah.
And I was even thinking about how we were talking about how blue light can be dehydrating for the skin. And it's like, think of the best example, which is going out in the sun for the day.
Yeah.
We end up more tan, but we also end up dry.
Of course,
so
exactly.
If people need something tangible to hold on to, because a lot of this is like us just listening to the science, that's a really good way to look at it.
It's fascinating. And there's a couple of other really interesting studies that have come out on light. One of them is sunglasses. So wearing sunglasses during the day can actually increase your susceptibility to sunburn. And the reason that happens is because the body and the circadian clock cannot detect invisible light. So UV light can't be detected. So how the body detects UV light is through blue. So when it detects blue light through the melanopsin receptors I mentioned earlier, it automatically knows that UV light is present. Why? Because the sky's blue, and when the sky's blue, the sun's typically out, and UV will be shining on our skin. So it increases cortisol. Cortisol is actually an antagonist for ultraviolet light. So basically any UV that's hitting our skin, the cortisol will increase, and that will help eliminate any of the cellular damage that's potentially happening. When we put sunglasses on, sunglasses block blue light.
And red?
A little bit of red as well.
Okay.
They block basically the whole spectrum. They reduce it down. So our body clock through because our main clock system through our brain, through our eyes is 90% of what the entrainment of circadian rhythm happens. So through the skin is a little bit, but not as much as and as impactful as through the eyes. Putting your sunglasses on is telling your body, okay, it's nighttime, or it's evening time, or maybe it's cloudy because there's not as much blue light, so we don't need to produce as much cortisol. So the UV is just going about its business undamaged, unregistered, and causing all the damage. Now, there's another study that also, and again, I want to caveat here that more studies needs to be done in this. You know, just one study doesn't mean that, you know, this is fact. It's just interesting. So there was another study that was in vitro. So that means that they took skin cells from the body and put them in a petri dish, and they shone blue light on one of the dishes throughout a 24-hour cycle, constantly shining blue light on it. And the skin cells were active, which means that they were in a non-restorative phase. They were basically metabolically active and functioning. And then they did 12 hours shining the blue light on the skin cells in the other dish, and then took away the blue light. And the way the cells behaved is they went from this metabolically active stage to this restorative apoptosis and autophagy stage, which meant that when the blue light was removed, they started to repair themselves. So the theory goes, because we're under blue light all the time, our skin has not got time to repair itself, so it's aging faster. We're not allowing our skin to go into this metabolically healing state, which we would have done ancestrally when the campfire was on and the sun had set. And then there's also theories that potentially, because we're out in the sun all day and we've potentially got some UV damage to our cells, we're then going under blue light when we get home, not allowing our bodies to naturally heal that UV damage. So could blue light be the leading cause of skin health issues when it comes to UV light, rather than the UV light itself? It's almost like that double-edged sword of, like, people always say cholesterol's bad for you, but it's actually the inflammation that's bad, because the cholesterol's just doing its job. It's repairing the inflammation.
Right.
So is blue light the issue here, or is it UV light that's the issue? The science is asking the question that potentially
really
blue.
Interesting. And it's very easy for us as a culture to hear one thing and assume, like, oh, cholesterol's terrible. Oh, like UV is terrible, or whatever it is. And there's often, to your point, a lot more layers to actually the science and really looking into it.
Yeah. And then we double down on it by then trying to fix the problem with even more problem-inducing modalities, like finding topical treatments or injectables or anything else to, address the appearance and the damage that's happened, which
or
is
super
further
toxic sunscreen.
Yes.
Exactly, and we're causing all of these further problems as a result of trying to fix the problem that originated from, let's face it, light. The body can do anything. The body is there to keep you in optimal condition. It's just the environment that we're putting it in that's causing the issues. And if we can just hack that environment, the body will naturally do what it's supposed to do and keep you well, young, fit, and healthy as well. It's just the environment, unfortunately, is the driving force behind a lot of our problems today.
Yes, and a lot of us don't even realize it.
Yeah.
No.
I wanted to ask you guys about PEMF. I actually don't know anything about this. I know we spoke about EMFs and how they can mess with you on a cellular level. You guys have a PEMF mat?
PEMF mat,
Is that what it's called? Okay.
It's super popular.
What's happening with that?
Oh, it's so interesting. Do you know what? It's one of my favorite things. You need to experience it.
I do.
You absolutely need
People
to experience
rave about
it.
these.
Yeah, it's so good. So you don't feel anything. So it's basically pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, but there's no sensation to it. So people think it's going to vibrate or there'll be something to the touch, but there isn't. But what it's doing is it's taking the beneficial frequencies in nature and pulsing that into your body, because what happens is your body always wants to conserve energy. And the way it conserves energy is by adopting the frequency of the environment that it's in. So if you think about it, when you go into a really hectic supermarket, sometimes you get a bit pent up because it's so hectic, because your body's trying to align with the frequency of that environment to conserve energy. So it makes you a bit more pent up. In nature, there are frequencies that are more beneficial to the human body. So grounding is the most obvious one that people understand. You take your shoes and socks off, stand on the ground, you're connected with the Earth's magnetic field, the Schumann resonance, that pulses through your body. You're then operating at a frequency that's in line with the Earth, and that has a whole host of benefits, not just the calming and therapeutic benefits, but it has been shown to reduce inflammation as well. But what PEMF technology does is it takes other frequencies and pulses those into your body by choosing a particular setting depending on what it is you want to achieve, to pulse that into your body, to make your body mirror that frequency. So for example, in our PEMF mats, we have the Schumann resonance to ground and connect with the Earth, but then we have the delta waves. So that's the waves and the frequency that your brain is producing when you're in sleep. So if you want to induce sleep or optimize your sleep, pulsing delta waves into your body will naturally put your body into that state to optimize your sleep. And then we've got theta waves, alpha waves. They all dial into different frequencies depending on whether you want to boost creativity or go deeper into meditation or become more aware and alert or more focused or productive. Depending what it is, you pulse that through into your body. And it is literally a mat. It's like a yoga mat, really. Isn't That's probably the easiest way to describe it. And you can sit on it, lie on it, meditate on it, work on it. And then it has the added benefit that I love of all the crystals and the semi-precious gemstones, because that is just ultra balancing and amplifies the effect of the PEMF technology as well. So in a nutshell, it's basically taking the frequency and getting your body to mirror that frequency to induce a particular state of being.
So cool.
Yes.
I think the grocery store example is really helpful for people that don't understand how our body kind of takes on the energy around it.
Yes.
We've all been. I also think airports are a really good example of
yes.
this in a bad
Oh my gosh,
way.
they're my worst. I hate them.
We are our worst selves in the airport. Everyone's rushing. Everyone's panicked. You're not being treated super well.
Yep.
And it's contagious.
Yes.
And so I love it. It's so wild and fascinating and tech savvy that you were able to infuse good frequencies.
Yes.
And pulse them into your body so that your body matches it.
Absolutely.
Wild.
Yeah, it's all in nature. Like I keep saying, nature has everything we need. The body can do everything we need it to do. We just need to sync them up a bit more because we're disconnected from nature. And when we're living, particularly here in New York, in high-rise buildings, you can't ground as much. You probably aren't out in nature as much because you're going from your apartment through to your office, through to the gym. They're all artificial environments, and this is just a way to hack your environment to align with nature. But there's also that really interesting study on grounding and the grounding mats. That have you ever used a grounding mat?
No.
So they're a bit different to PEMF technology. A grounding mat, the theory is that you stand on this mat and it connects you to the earth. But there's a lot of studies out there that show if you're not doing that in a controlled environment, which nobody is, let's face it, no one's in a laboratory doing this, they are in their home environment, all of the EMF in your space is passing through you to the ground. You're basically becoming an antenna for it.
Oh, no.
So all of that is processing through your body, which is quite frightening.
Yes.
So you have to be careful when you are looking at biohacks. Do your research and understand that you are buying into or adopting a principle that is actually beneficial, because some can actually be quite controversial.
That's my biggest fear with any kind of wellness habit, especially because I am someone who gets very consistent with things.
Yeah.
My worst fear, I talk about this on the show a lot, is like adapting some sort of supplement, habit, wellness hack that's actually not doing my body good.
Yes.
And it's possible when people don't have the right information. And I feel like that's what's so different about Bon Charge, is that you guys are in the weeds of the data and the information, especially you.
That's him. He probably picked up on this.
My face lit up there when you said that. I was like, yes.
Data.
Every day.
And I'm just curious for the listener who is like, okay, there's so much wellness tech out there. What are some other key differentiators of you guys and what you really bring?
I think you can probably speak on the mask, because you were very heavily involved in the development of that product. I think that was a good one to differentiate.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a saturated market, the wellness industry, isn't it? And if you delve into particular products or particular verticals within that, that's even more saturated. And speaking about the red light face mask is probably the easiest one to talk about. There's so many different ones on the market. And the key thing that we're very passionate about at Bond Charge is how we started, which was aligning with the science. We have to read the literature. What exactly are the frequencies that are going to have any benefit to us, whether that's blocking the frequency of blue light or utilizing the beneficial frequencies of red light and near infrared. That's the fundamental, because there's so many out there that aren't using the most studied frequencies. And if there's not enough studies on that frequency, why are we using it? We don't know if it's good or not yet. We want the one that's got a lot of scientific research behind it. So fundamentally it's that, but also there's other things like the irradiance, the power, the amount of lights and LED bulbs that are within the face mask as well. So many didn't offer the coverage needed. There was, if you looked at the back of the mask, it would have gaps in between the lights. So there'd be gaps on your face where it's shining, which means there's portions of your skin that aren't getting the effects of red light therapy. So we chose to double down on the amount of lights that we had on our face mask for that, to offer more coverage. And I guess, again, coming back to the fact that everyone's time poor, it has to be efficient. It has to be something that's not going to take an hour a day. It's not going to be something they have to do religiously every day. It needs to be 5 to 20 minutes, 3 times a week, by using the right frequencies, the right irradiance, the right power, the right number of lights in order to achieve that. So that's kind of the principles that we go by to make it easy and accessible for people. I myself, I'm so simple with my wellness routine and my skincare routine. If I won't do it, we don't launch it. I'm so basic, so basic. Even skincare, you know, I go to see dermatologists and they're like, oh, let's give you an 8-step skincare routine. I'm like, it's not going to happen.
No.
It's simply not going to happen.
We know ourselves.
I'll wash my face and I'll have something to hydrate it, and that's it. So
less is more.
Exactly that. And I think that is the key with wellness. Sometimes you can do too much, and there is a lot out there in the biohacking space. You just need some basic good principles. Nature has it all, but if you can't adopt everything in nature because you live in the modern world like we've discussed, then just to have a few handful of products or practices that you use and do on a regular basis that deliver. And that's kind of what we build our brand by, really.
I love that, and so aligned with everything that I preach on this podcast. Okay, quick thing that I wanted to ask you guys before we sign off here. You guys mentioned mouth taping. You mentioned looking at the sunrise.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know you're wearing your blue light blockers. Outside of the stuff that we talked about, is there anything else that you guys each individually do in terms of like little habits to optimize sleep, hormones, longevity, etc.?
I think for me, infrared sauna huge.
Yeah.
I love it. It really helps me get into a deeper sleep. I find when I'm using it a couple of hours before bedtime, helps me unwind. It also gives me a chance to sort of be present as well, like drop the phone and just, you know, be with my thoughts, which is amazing. So for me, I think infrared sauna.
So good.
Yeah.
I'd say, do you know what I've been doing recently, and it is a game changer, is electrolytes before coffee in the morning.
Oh.
Such a game changer, because you think about it, you've slept for, well, in our case, we sleep a lot, so a good 9 hours worth of sleep a night.
Amazing. You guys sleep so well.
But you haven't drunk any water,
Yeah.
you're dehydrated. And then to get up and have a coffee, you just further dehydrating yourself. I mean, albeit we do tend to have decaf anyway, but there is still some caffeine in it. But electrolytes first thing in the morning really supercharges you for the day. And it's such a simple thing that has, I've noticed a huge difference. And if you're not doing the electrolyte sachets, because again, which one do you pick? There's so many on the market.
And there's so many crap ingredients and so many of them hidden.
Some Celtic sea salt.
Okay. Completely agree.
A simple thing like that.
I was having some digestive issues recently, and my girlfriend was like, you need to just squeeze an entire lemon into a glass of warm water, not hot, and a little bit of Celtic sea salt.
Yes.
And she's like, that's your electrolyte.
Yep.
And it's amazing. And it actually, the salt weirdly tastes very good.
It
I don't
does.
know. I
It
was
does.
like,
It does.
clearly my body is receiving this, because it's not tasting like a lot of those powders where I kind of like reject it.
Yeah, and they're very artificial tasting, aren't they? A lot of
Yes.
those powders, and all very salty. And that's the beauty of Celtic sea salt. It's lower in the sodium, so you don't have that taste then. But game changer, again, it's a simple thing. So simple that you can easily do every day, but has a profound impact on how you feel and how you look.
Back
It's
to
hydration.
basics
Exactly
is really
that.
kind of the message of this entire thing.
It is.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I feel
Thank
like we could
you.
chat about all this all day. Now I'm like, why do you guys drink decaf?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it offline, because I want to not keep you too long. But I really appreciate you both coming on and
Thank
all the way
you.
over here. And I also want to highlight for any listeners that are interested, we do have 15% off at bondcharge.com with code TWP. So I recommend the panel, the red light mask. I now need to get the light bulbs. So I'm personally going to be shopping, but I just wanted to drop that in there for anybody that's interested. But I really appreciate you guys.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.